So the other week, we're starting off with a little story time today. You know what would be perfect for this? That TikTok backtrack where everyone goes to the beat like, one thing about me, I'm the... Do you know what I'm talking about? But no, YouTube is not copywriting me today. Anyways, back to my brief story I'm gonna make you guys listen to. So the other week, I was getting out of my brother's car and I went to close the door. And looking back on it, I probably actually slammed the door, but it turns out my leg was still in the vehicle. Yes, I slammed the door on my leg. It hurt so bad, I bent over in agony. Now it's 2 weeks later and I still have a grapefruit-sized bruise on my thigh. Okay, we're gonna get on to the wrap up, but moral of the story, don't think that little cars can't bite, because those little fuckers can and will. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome or welcome back. Today's video is yet another monthly wrap up. Wrap-ups have become ingrained in my monthly routine. It's like I've been waiting and preparing for this all month, which I guess in a way I kind of have, because I'm gonna be showing you everything I read this past month. September was an excellent reading month for me. I read a fair share of new books and old books, which I usually try to do. So together we can talk about new, exciting, hyped books, but also appreciate some older works that maybe should be talked about more. I've got my stack prepared. In September, I ended up reading a total of 9 books, consisting of 1 2.5 star, 1 3.5 star, 4 4-star, 1 4.5 star, and 2 5-star reads. Y'all know the drill by now. I'm gonna start off with my lowest rated reads and end with my highest rated. Where is that little shit? Oh, found her. Starting with my 2.5 star read of the month, The Therapist by B.A. Paris. This is a thriller, and you know, I thought thrillers were supposed to be thrilling. Can't say that this was. We are really just digging into it right off the bat. I really couldn't find a way to care about any of the characters in here. Oh, our protagonist thinks there's an intruder in her house. That sucks. All of her neighbors are suspicious of her. That's too bad. So obviously I was detached from this, in my opinion, very boring, dragged out story. In this thriller, we follow Alice? Not Alicia, not like it matters. In this thriller, we follow Alice as she moves into a new upscale house in this gated community called The Circle. But as Alice starts to get to know the neighbors, she discovers a horrifying secret about her new home and the therapist who used to live there. So Alice soon becomes obsessed with trying to figure out what exactly happened to this therapist 2 years ago, what secrets her neighbors are hiding, and is she really as safe as she initially thought she was. Also, I want to say that when a book is called The Therapist, I'm kind of expecting that one of the main characters is going to be the therapist, and that the book is going to revolve around that therapist and their life and the struggles they face. That's the fun time I signed up for. This book, on the other hand, decided to have the therapist as a side character, and her being a therapist it didn't add anything to the story. She literally could have had any other job and this book would have still worked. I wish I had something positive to say about this, but sorry, I don't. If you have not read this yet, you shouldn't. My 3.5 star read of the month was The Party by Robin Harding. My version here is this cute little mass market paperback with this fugly cover. This is a thriller that immediately after hearing about went to the top of my mental TBR. In this book, we follow the aftermath of a sweet 16 that went horrifically wrong. All Kim and Jeff Sanders wanted to do was throw their perfect daughter a nice sleepover birthday party. But instead, the party turned friends into enemies, revealed dark secrets in the Sanders marriage, and exposed the truth about their perfect daughter. See, that sounds like a domestic thriller lover's dream novel, but the actual book didn't live up to that compelling synopsis and instead fell kind of flat for me. The main mystery around what actually happened at the party was revealed pretty early on, so the rest of the book followed the repercussions of this incident, which made the rest nothing super special. All the characters were also super unlikable, and at one point I thought actually maybe they're not as bad as I initially thought they were. But then they would go and do something else and I would think, yep, I should never have second guessed myself. I generally don't mind unlikable characters. I tend to think that they add a little spice to the novel, but I want at least one character that I can root for and that grounds the book to reality. I did really enjoy all the mommy drama and teenage drama in here though, and it was a pretty fast-paced page turner. This ended up being a slightly below average thriller, but I would still like to pick up some of Robin Harding's other work sometime because I can see the writing potential. My first 4-star read of the month was The Mistake by Elle. This is the second book in the Off-Campus series. The first book might be later in this video. For some reason, even though I've always heard that people love these books, I just expected them to be overhyped. And although these aren't anything groundbreaking, I really did enjoy them. They were definitely better than I expected. Granted, my expectations weren't that high in the first place. If you don't already know, each book in the off-campus series follows a member of the Ware University hockey team and their love story. So in this one, we have the relationship between John Logan and what's her name? Just give me a minute. Grace Ivers. There we go. I remember laughing out loud multiple times while reading these books. A lot of the times, if I think something's funny, I'll like acknowledge it in my head and be like, oh, that was funny. But for a book to make me physically laugh out loud is already for sure getting at least 3 stars. I will say that The Mistake was pretty similar to the first book in the series in terms of the characters and their backgrounds. Also, the last turning point in here let me down. It revolved around a problem that put one of the characters in here in a very difficult situation. And this problem was built up throughout the whole story, which made me wonder the whole time, like, how in the world is this author going to resolve this? Because there's no obvious easy solution. But boy, was I wrong. There was an easy solution that the author pulled out of who knows where during the last 50 pages or so. And I was like, you could have just done that 300 pages earlier, ma'am, and saved yourself from the scrutiny, but to each their own. If an author is going to allude to a dramatic climax, I am expecting them to deliver. Next, let's talk about The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, the last installment in the Inheritance Game trilogy. It probably would have been smart for me to reread the last 2 books in the Inheritance Game trilogy so I could get the most out of this last book, but when have I ever been known to do the smart thing? So at some points in this book, I was a bit confused, and then later on I would remember what happened in the previous novels. So I would not recommend that you follow my actions and read these books over a stretch of time, or you probably will be a little confused. At least I was. Have you ever read a book and thought, wow, this author is a fucking genius? Because that's how I felt throughout reading this whole series. So many aspects in these books connect that you initially don't pick up on. Also in the series, there's like a side plot of a love triangle, and in a previous video I mentioned whom I wanted Avery to end up with. I'm not gonna spoil whom she does end up with, but I think the author wrapped all that up in a way that would make everyone happy, which I really appreciated because love triangles can be tricky to write and not end up leaving half of your audience pissed off. This is an overall 4-star series for me. It's definitely not my favorite mystery YA series. It was interesting, but I felt like that special spark that makes books 5 stars for me was missing. My next 4-star read of the month was The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. This was the perfect read to get me excited for October. Start to finish, spooky vibes the whole time. In this thriller, we follow Rowan, who is kind of down on her luck, but one afternoon while browsing for something else completely different, she stumbles upon an ad looking for a live-in nanny. This book then jumps to the present where Rowan is in jail awaiting trial for the murder of one of the kids she was caring for. And while writing to her lawyer, she struggles to explain that fateful night that ended with her incarceration. One of my favorite parts in this book was its format. The whole book basically follows Rowan's letters to her attorney. And through these letters, we not only see what exactly took place, but also the aftermath and how that incident affected Rowan. I loved the ending of this thriller. I think it's gonna be a bit of a controversial one, but in my opinion, it was great. It's definitely one that leaves you thinking about it for weeks to come. Can I say that I'm a nighttime reader, and while reading this book, I kept like looking around being like, what the fuck? Who's there? Can a feeling be terribly great? Is that an oxymoron or just straight up confusing? But I would not suggest this for anyone who's not into creepy, sitting on the edge of your seat, waiting for shit to hit the fan type of books. Those are my gluten-free bread and butter though. Scratch that, I actually hate gluten-free bread. Yeah, it's been a sad, breadless life. You ever just like go in the bread aisle and then just like stick your face into like a package of bread and smell it because you miss it so much? No, just me? Awkward. My last 4-star read of the month I thought for sure was going to be a 5-star, especially since other booktubers I watch and have similar taste to me ended up adoring this. That is Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. The premise of this book is another one that captivated me right off the bat. We start off by following Paris, who has just waked up covered in blood, holding a razor with her celebrity millionaire husband dead in the bathtub behind her. But Paris claims that she didn't kill her husband, and the publicity from his murder is the last thing she wants since she has secrets of her own that could destroy her life if they came to light. Overall, I found this book a bit disappointing and ended up guessing the 2 main twists in here. I also thought at times that the story was too unrealistic in how some of the things were covered up. But what really saved the book for me was the author's writing style. Jennifer Hillier did a fantastic job at intertwining the past and the present. A lot of the times authors will write duo timelines by alternating chapter by chapter, which this book does do occasionally, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I was also just really impressed with how Jennifer Hillier was able to seamlessly alternate between time periods within the same chapter. So I loved how that aspect heightened the suspense element because I never knew what was coming next. My 4.5-star read of the month was Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This book was my book of the month choice for September. I usually never read my book of the month choice for the month during that actual month, but when I saw that this was an option, I couldn't believe my eyes. The stars must have been aligning because I was already planning on buying this when it came out anyways. I love it when book of the month comes in clutch like that. It really helps me and my wallet out. This is of course another STEM romance, but in this one, we have astronauts. Maybe not like how you think. There are astronauts, just not the main characters. This is a workplace romance, and we start off with Bee, who has just been hired to work at NASA, and after years of being professionally at her lowest, she jumps at this opportunity. But once she gets there, lo and behold, who does she see working there as well? Levi, her arch nemesis from grad school. So obviously this is a bit unfortunate for her, but she's not gonna let this interfere with her job at NASA. It's fucking NASA, come on. I can already hear all the haters now complaining about the cringy moments in this book, but if we've learned anything from Ali Hazelwood's first novel, it's that you have to be okay accepting what you signed up for and just embrace those cringy moments. Personally, I don't find them off-putting. I just think they're kind of funny. Our protagonist in this book is truly a not like the other girl's girl. She has multiple piercings, tattoos, purple hair, which I really appreciated about her character. I love characters with distinct characteristics because it enhances visualization and enables the book to stand out from its peers, not me personifying books. I think I've reached a new level of book obsession. Next thing you know, I'm gonna start talking to my books. I'm already dreaming about them. I'm not even kidding. Oh, the You've Got Mail twist in here is also really cute. Books with additional elements, whether that's text messages, emails, letters, pictures, are superior. That is a fact I think we can all agree on. I just gotta reapply my lip gloss, excuse me. Moving on to my 5-star reads, the first one should come as no surprise since everyone is rating this 5 stars. And I mean everyone, even your dog probably has. They have thumbs, I don't know. That is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Do you know what the rating right now currently on Goodreads is? So on September 30th, the day I'm filming this book has an average rating of 4.67 on Goodreads. That is crazy. But wow, this was such a powerful, moving, heartbreaking novel. As most of you probably already know, this is a memoir that follows Jeanette's life growing up as a child actor and the relationship she had with her mom, who was incredibly abusive, but also depicted as this complicated character. This celebrity memoir was so well written, you could tell that there's actual purpose behind this book and not just written to make money. One of my favorite aspects of this book was how Jeanette immaculately molded her writing style and language to reflect the different phases of her life, which made the reading experience seem like you were right there with her. I also really admired her honesty and how she approached talking about her different relationships and co-stars. She didn't try to overly praise or trash talk anyone. Instead, she describes how those relationships affected her. It was so interesting reading a first-hand account of Jeanette's life as an actress because when I was younger, I used to watch iCarly all the time, and I remember hearing little snippets about whatever drama was going on around her at the time. And of course, the media is going to take whatever ounce of celebrity drama they can and run with it and twist it in a way to fit their narrative. But Jeanette approached these subjects in such an unbiased way that laid out the facts first and then followed with her feelings on the situation. Even if you are not familiar with Jeanette McCurdy as an actress, I would still highly recommend picking this up, especially if you're interested in what really goes on behind the scenes in the acting industry, but definitely look up trigger warnings beforehand. My camera's gonna die soon and it's making me nervous. We've got one more book camera, you just gotta hold it together. My last 5-star read of the month was The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Yes, this is the first book in the Off-Campus series. So although these books are standalones, I would still recommend that you read them in order, or else you're gonna get spoiled about events that happened in the previous novels. And also, I don't know why you wouldn't. If you don't wanna read them all, I would still at the very least pick up the first book because in here we get introduced to the Briar University world along with the members of the hockey team that these books center around. This is a double POV romance, we love to see it, that follows, as the title alludes to, a deal. And this deal revolves around Hannah Wells tutoring star hockey player Garrett Grahams in exchange for Garrett's help at catching the attention of the guy she has been crushing on. Garrett is probably my favorite character in the series so far. He was so heartwarming and silly. Oh my gosh, I just remembered this. The day before I was gonna start reading this novel, I was watching another booktube video and the person just right out of of the blue straight up spoiled one of the turning points in this book. That is like a crime in the book community. I still ended up loving it though, but my reading experience would have just been like that much better if I didn't already know what was gonna happen. As you can see, I'm still a little salty over it. I'll get over it though. All right, once again, here is everything I read in September. It was a good month. October is such a festive season. I'm excited. Also, I have some fun videos planned for this upcoming month, so stay tuned. It's spooky season, I know. My camera is gladly reminding me that it is time to go, so we'll wrap this up quick. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite book was this month. My all-time favorite of the month was I'm Glad My Mom Died. Such a fantastic read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help me, my channel out a lot. You can also comment, interact, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you all are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.